Hey everybody, Sal Capaccio here, WGR Sports Radio 550, Bill's sideline reporter, inviting you to do what I do every Wednesday and Friday night. That's check out 30 Minutes Live with CDP, coming at you from Ontario, right on your Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube channels. You can check it out every Wednesday and Friday night, just like I do. 30 Minutes Live with CDP.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to 30 Minutes Live with CDP tonight. I got a guest coming on. He'll be here shortly. Howard Simon from WGR 550 had another commitment tonight, so Howard is going to reschedule with me as well. So we'll hopefully have Howard on next week. But I have one of the greatest quarterbacks in CFL and pro football history coming on in just a minute. Number 9, Damon Allen. 4-time Grey Cup champion, 3-time Grey Cup MVP, and 4th all-time in professional football yardage. Just an amazing athlete. And give me 1 sec, guys, and I will bring Damon on here. 1 second. I really appreciate Damon coming on short notice. And like I said, guys, I'm just going to bring him on just 1 minute. And that's Damon there, is his days as a Toronto Argonaut quarterback. So 1 sec, guys. I'm going to bring Mr. Allen on. Hey, Damon, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on short notice. I really appreciate this.
Hey, no problem.
I appreciate this. How was your day?
So far, it's been pretty good. I've been on the phone pretty much all day. I didn't get a chance to go out and get some exercise in, but so far it's been good.
Yeah, I will get mine tonight. I'm with this lockdown here in Ontario, I've been put on the midnight shift, so I will get my exercise tonight when everybody's sleeping. So my days right now, I'm sleeping, everyone's up, and then so I'll get my exercise later tonight.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah. So I use StreamYard on here, but like I said, I really appreciate you coming on here tonight. So thank you so much again. I was going to say, I was going to ask you some questions if that's okay.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to start with first one here is when did you know you wanted to pursue a career in sports? Football, baseball, basketball, etc.
I think for me, it started when I was about 7, 8 years old. Due to the fact that I, grew up watching my brothers get involved in organized sports. So they started probably a little bit later than myself, but the fact that I was young enough to understand what they were doing allowed me to, create the desire that I want to, participate as well. And so that's how I actually got started. But it was a family by the last name, the Kirkendalls. They would walk by our house in these different uniforms, whether it's baseball season or they had football uniforms on it. So that's how we grew the interest. And then we wanted to say, what organization you guys are playing for, and we wanted to be involved as well. And when you run and tell your dad like, hey, we want to play baseball or we want to play football, right away, he became involved and became a team coach. Or my mother was involved; she was a team mother, and so we spent our summers, at the baseball diamond or the football field.
Okay. I was going to say, who was the better baseball player, you or Marcus?
I mean, we all grew up around baseball. We're actually a baseball family. All my brothers, from Marcus, my older brother Harold, my brother Michael, at some point we were all drafted in baseball or had opportunity to go baseball. It so happened that Marcus and myself, chose football. And so, growing up, we were on the baseball diamond or we were on the football field. Marcus probably played basketball in high school like I did. You play multiple sports, but eventually you choose what sport you want to going to. And so, but I would say, my family is a baseball family first because my father played baseball.
And I was going to say, and what other position did you play besides pitcher? Did you play any other positions that you really liked when you were in baseball?
Yeah, I started off playing shortstop. I think I made the All-Star team at 10 years old. I made the All-Star game, the shortstop, and they called me young Maury Wills. So you have to look that up.
Okay.
Because I had the big afro and the hat, but I was getting every ball at the shortstop spot. So, and then from there, I always knew I can throw, and so I also pitched as well. And so eventually, as baseball continued to go, I became a pitcher. But my infielder, my hands, and all this stuff, I was a shortstop growing up as a young kid, and then eventually, I became a pitcher in college.
I was going to say, my Detroit Tigers drafted you in 1984.
That's right.
As a pitcher,
but you won the College World Series.
And the same year that
Fullerton. So yes.
Same year the Tigers won their last World Series in '84.
I know. I mean, I always think back. I mean, if I had chose baseball, would I have made the big leagues? I believe I would have.
I was going to say, yeah, it would have been great to see you on the Tigers, but like you said, you had a pretty good CFL career, 23 years, man. That's amazing. You played until you're 44. I think Mr. Tom Brady might beat you for age-wise for football.
Say that again?
I was going to say, Tom Brady, the way he's going, I think he might play until he's 50.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his age is now, but
it's 42.
You can't touch the quarterback now. I mean, guys can play much longer.
It's just true. It's true, Damon. Football has changed a lot from the 70s, 80s, even the 90s compared to now. If Brady played in a different era, he'd still be a great quarterback. But the longevity, you're right, is based on protecting the quarterback. There's not as much.
Absolutely. And if he had played in a different era, I mean, where the game didn't change, and I don't think he would have seen many quarterbacks play, deep into their 20-something years if the game didn't change physically over the last 5 to 7 years. I mean, now it's you really can't touch the quarterback, below the knee when he's in the pocket. You can't hit the helmet, so only thing you can do is just grab around the waist and bring him down. So, yeah, the game is a little bit softer than it has been, but that's the uniqueness of football, and it's constantly changing. And they want more scoring, and they want quarterbacks to be healthy, and so that's why you're seeing such excitement in the game today, is because of the guy who was with the football. He's the one who has to make the decisions in the game, so they want these guys healthy.
I was going to say, my next question for you, Damon, is when you did get into football through college, did you have a mentor in college? And then when you got to the CFL with Edmonton in 1985?
Did I have a mentor? I mean, I talked to many people and became friends with many people. So I was always inspired. I mean, and plus, I can look, the number one inspiration in my brother. So when I was in university, I mean, he was with the Raiders at the time. And when I was at Cal State Fullerton, the Rams practiced at our university. And John Robinson at that time was the coach. So he knew who I was, and I was able to go to their practices and watch and train with professionals. And so, I mean, I think overall, I've always been around people that help motivate me, push me to get better. And then at the same time, I followed the career of Warren Moon. And I know the history of, the African-American quarterback and the struggles of breaking through. The first quarterback I ever seen was Joe Gilliam, played for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Steelers back in the 70s.
Yeah, due to the fact because we had the same body type. We can throw long, skinny, Um, Unfortunately, in his case, I mean, the challenges he was facing in Pittsburgh is quite unique um, and unheard of. But it definitely pushed me to have a much stronger mind and be able to deal with, potential challenges you may face, just being a quarterback of color and all the things you have to endure, but still have the right mentality to play and compete and to lead.
Definitely, and it's like a look at Warren Mood. He had to I'm glad he came to Canada, but he had to come to Canada to get an opportunity to be a starting quarterback. I guess back then it was really tough for an African American to be a quarterback in the NFL, and it didn't really start into the early '80s with Warren Moon and Doug Williams, who actually won a Super Bowl with Washington against Denver.
That's right. There's been a few that, like I said, even though they've made it, they still didn't go without their challenges. But overall, I understand what they went through. I've experienced it at times, but overall, I mean, it's all about your performance. It never affected my confidence. If anything, it pushed me to excellence. And but those are the experience that makes you tough. And it's the same experience that you, because I have a great amount of respect for history and all the players that played sports, had to go through. I've also take that same kind of understanding to where I am today, where you can't lock me out from playing. And so, if anything, I want to inspire the next generations that when they walk through the hallway, and they can't keep you from, dressing in the locker room with your other teammates and things like that Jackie Robinson had to go through, or
Willie O'Ree in hockey.
That just gives you inspiration more so.
Definitely. And then, like I said, I started out being an Argos fan in the late 70s, early 80s, and we brought in Conridge Holloway from the Ottawa Rough Riders. He's one of my favorite all-time Argonaut quarterbacks, and Gilbert Renfro too, and Danny Barrett, and yourself. Like I said, you're right. I was always brought up, you don't judge somebody by the skin of their color or their religion. You judge them by their character and their personality.
And if they can play, and
yes, and in sports, in professional sports,
those things are a big factor in
performance.
All the guys that you named, I played against some form, and the fact that I had the privilege to play in 3 decades, it's pretty unique, and I take joy in saying I played in 3 decades because it shows. Not only your skill set and your intelligence of playing the game, but it also talks about your physical endurance and your ability to stay healthy to be able to play those number of years.
I was going to say, oh, sorry.
Go on.
I was going to say, Damon, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you find the older you got as a quarterback, more mature, did you find the game slowed down even more and it was easier for you than when you were when you were younger, starting out?
Yes. I mean, I think that's a natural progression because of the experience you've seen, so I have to say for 23 years I've had a lot of experience and seen the evolution of offense. In the same time, even with all of that experience, defenses really haven't changed. You still see the same coverages. Now it's just a matter of, yes, the game slows down. The movie is like you've seen the movie over and over again. So it's easier for you to anticipate, to prepare, to make the proper adjustments, or foretell the adjustments that a team will make. So as the older I got And even though, as skillfully as you get older, you might lose a step or here, but mentally you become sharper. And, you know, Brady and Breeze, they talked about these kind of things, that the game slows down and it really compensates with their skill set. So they don't get left behind physically, but mentally they become sharper.
Okay. The next question I was going to ask you, Damon, how much was it an adjustment being an American, coming from American football your whole life to the CFL game in 1985 with the Edmonton Eskimos?
I think the biggest adjustment that many of the quarterbacks will face is really the 12th man and what you can do with 12 guys on the field instead of 11. That was probably the biggest adjustments. Far as the rules, I mean, it's how you play the game. Once you learn how to play the game, and then it goes back to the fundamentals of football. You have to throw, catch, run, block, tackle. The basic fundamental things of the game of football, that hasn't changed.
Yes.
But how you play the game is different from American style to Canadian football style, which you start to understand. Part of it is, rugby rules, intertwine football with rugby. And then you understand your skill set and how your skill set, how you can take advantage of the rules and those things. And then you have a good grasp on how to play the game. But fundamentally, it's pretty much the same.
Okay. Do you remember your first game with the Eskimos and the first game that you got in as a backup quarterback?
Yes, I remember my first start. It was against Montreal. Joe Barnes, 13-year veteran. They're in first place in the East. I got my first start at Commonwealth Stadium. We beat them 38-1.
Wow.
That was the start of my player of the week multiple times in a row before when I got my first couple of starts, because after that game, then I think I played the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, best defense in the league, and I ran 3 touchdowns. So, yes, absolutely do. I will always remember my first start because the way I played, and it was probably the 10th, 11th game of the season, I want to say. But it's the way I played, which, really let the Eskimos know that the other teams are watching. So that's always important for a young quarterback, is when you get the opportunity to play, you show well, because the other teams are auditioning. All teams are watching the young quarterback. And, looking back during the times of Edmonton, you have to say, well, what are they going to do with that backup quarterback? They already have Dunnigan, and they have their backup. And so teams, it's important that young quarterbacks play well, because it may not work out with that team because you want to play. And I did want to play. But at the end of the day, you're preparing yourself to, if the Eskimos at that time would let me go, I would have been picked up by another team. So performance is very important for a young quarterback in our league.
Definitely. I was going to say, is it okay if I just play a short video clip of the 87 Grey Cup? Because you're the last quarterback to beat the Argos in the Grey Cup, and it's just a quick short video highlight. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. That's still one of the greatest Grey Cups of all time, even though Toronto lost. Still one of the greatest. So give me 1 second and I'll...
This attempt from the right hash marks. And he again missed it to the right. Gizmo has a block at the sideline. He has not stepped out. He may go all the way. He needs one block, and he'll do it easily. He may not need the block. Henry Gizmo Williams with the Lisick facing him. Scores! Of course, that isn't the whole story. Comic has missed 2 field goals, but the second time he missed it turned into an Evans touchdown. This is a field goal that is made by Comic.
Doing it all year.
Looking right at it now, 34-yard attempt, straight through the uprights. And the Eskimos build their lead. Comes a blitz from the Eskimos. Renfro still has time. Throws it deep, intended for Kennedy. He catches it, and he scores. Plus a 61-yard pass for a touchdown. From the 4-yard line, Kennedy scores. Second and 10, Eskimos. Mulligan still has it thrown, and he now fumbles it. And this could be a Toronto touchdown. Doug Landry will go all the way. Well, Hank Olesic will punt. Bobbled it, and they block it. So the special teams are keeping the Eskimos in this game. Allen touchdown pass to Marco Sincar. Well, Carrick isn't bothered in the end. The lead is 4. Chomik tries to make it 7. He must make a 50-yard field goal to do that. On a distance. It is good. They try to get it in from 15 yards out. Allen looking and finding Brian Kelly. Did he catch it? He caught it, and it is a touchdown. Right now, the Argos can regain the lead. 32-yard field goal. Chomik didn't have a whole lot of hoops to that one, but they fake a reverse. Allen has got it, and he might score. Touchdown. He slid in. Second down and 7. A key play in this game. Barrett has it himself and has a touchdown. Nobody can see him score. The Eskimos were looking at passes. It'll be a 49-yard attempt near the left hash mark, held by Damon Allen for rookie kicker Jerry Carrick. Good. The Argos need 10, otherwise the game is over. The Eskimos can start celebrating. It would have been a completed pass without the hit.
Anyways, that was one of the greatest Grey Cups I've ever seen in my life.
That was one of the beginning of the great Grey Cups over the year. The first string of Grey Cups started with the 87 Grey Cup because I think it had 5 or 6 lead changes. I came off the bench and played just over 2 quarters and a half or something like that. So
that's actually going to lead up to my next question is what was it like replacing Matt Denikin in the 87 Grey Cup game against Toronto? Like, were you I guess as a backup, you still got to be ready at all times, but how mentally were you ready to go in there for that?
You know, I think back, see, I always, when I was about 7, 8 years old, I always dreamed about like making the big throw or the big run or in a championship game. So it always was, envision that growing up in your dreams. And so I think it's a combination of a lot of things that allow me to be, prepared to play that day. In 86, we played in the Grey Cup against Hamilton, and we were favored by 14. We lost that game, but I did play in the fourth quarter, and I ended up putting up 2 touchdowns to make the game respectable. Otherwise, they might have beat us 36-0. And so that experience alone, just playing in the fourth quarter in a Grey Cup, was really cool. And I think, you take that kind of experience and then you go back to the Grey Cup again in 87. And then prior to that season, I started 8 or 9 games that season. And one of the games we played, one of the teams we played against was the Toronto Argonauts. And so one of the games I got a chance to start in Commonwealth Stadium, and we beat them that day. And so that experience, along with seeing them again during Grey Cup. And so I think me coming into the game, and plus I had a dream that I'll get the opportunity to play. I had a dream that I was going to play in the game. And, everything, you don't wish any kind of injury on anyone, but Dunnigan got hurt. And then the team, the players that I played with, they all knew I had the capabilities of coming in and still pulling the game out, even though we were at that time when I came in the game, we were 21-7, I believe. And they were up. And so, yeah, that's really where the I guess, as they would say, the legend started.
I was going to say, out of your 4 Grey Cups, Damon, I know all of them are special, but would you say the first one is always the most special?
I think the first one was just it's different stages, because the first one was when I was young, leading up to my prime. And then the last one is really special too, is because of what I went through and the story behind how I came to Toronto and all the challenges I faced just getting to Toronto, along with, we're not really, having a training camp when I first came in 2003, to the fact that season in 2004 to make it to the Grey Cup, I fractured my tibia. It was all said that I was done for the season, and to be able to come back early enough to play 2 regular season games and then play in the playoffs and go to the Grey Cup. That is just as special. And then be a part of the winning the Grey Cup for, Mike Pinball Clemens being the first.
Oh, I think I lost Damon there. Guys, just bear with me. Hopefully I can get Damon back on here. Like I said, I was just enjoying chatting with Damon. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to try to get him back on here. Sometimes technical things happen. So just give me 1 second, guys. And I'm going to try to get Damon back on here. Oh, wait 1 sec. I think he's coming back on. Oh, there he is. Oh, I thought I lost you. Hey.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what.
No. Hey, that happens. Technical problems. Things happen, and you just got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, I think my last year was special due to the fact because, not only all the challenges I went through to make it to the Grey Cup and fracturing my leg and coming back just in time to play in the playoffs and win a Grey Cup, but also be involved in, Mike Pinball Clemens being the first African American coach to win a Grey Cup in the history of the game. And so to be a part of that kind of celebration is really that made the game and winning even more special. And then, like I said, and the icing on the top is to be MVP of the game. And so, I could say that is probably the most special out of my 4.
Just because
plus
of
I was what 40, 41, 40, 40, 41 and something years old at that time.
Yeah, that's, like I said, that was amazing. And like I said, your longevity too. And you're right. You had to have a little bit of luck, but you also changed with the game, and like you said, you overcame a lot too to keep playing that lot. And you had a lot of great players on all your teams as well too.
No, absolutely. There's and it's funny that when I look back over my career, is I think I should have more Grey Cup rings, and so can't have enough Grey Cup rings, man. So
that's true, but it just
not the ones you won, but you look at the ones that that got away from you, which,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, honestly, there's like four more that, I could have really, you know, been a part of another 4 Grey Cups if possible.
It just shows you how hard it is to win a championship in pro sports. You never know.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you never know. And there's guys that never been. There's guys that have been and never won. And so, I'm very thankful that, and I do understand that, quarterbacks is an important piece in winning championships, but I also understand that, having a good defense, playing good football at the right time, and and I know well enough that you don't do it by yourself. And so, even though you're having this conversation with me about Grey Cups, in the back of my mind, I know you can't do it by yourself.
Well, like I said, the most important position I think on a football team is quarterback, but it also starts with the lines too, the O line and the D line too. You need a good O line to give you time to pass or to run and stuff like that.
Well, absolutely. It's the guys in the trenches that sometimes don't get all the credit, but they control the line of scrimmage. And if offensively or the defensive side of the ball controls the line of scrimmage, then there's a potential to having a great day. And so, I mean, there's been times where I played games where I didn't get touched for 4 quarters. And there's times you play and you get hit, every single time. But I feel I can play whatever style of football, whether it's fought hard nose or if it's a shootout. I feel I have the tools to be able to play any style of football.
Okay. Are you okay for a few more questions? Are you okay for
Yes.
time? Okay.
Yeah.
I always ask my guests because every guest's schedule is a little different. So, okay. The next question I was going to ask you is in your CFL career, which CFL defense did you consider the toughest to go against? And which stadium did you find gave you a lot of difficulty, like which was always tough to play in?
I think the stadiums are always tough to play in at times. I would say Hamilton's a tough stadium to play in. I could say Saskatchewan during the times in the 80s were a tough place to stay. Winnipeg was always a tough place to play because, if you look back, all those teams pretty much had pretty good defensive teams, and especially Winnipeg and the Ticats. I mean, I played against the Ticats early in my career when they had, Grover Covington, Mike Walker,
Ben Zambiasi.
who just went into the Hall of Fame this year, and Grover was a Hall of Famer. And
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they always had a really good defense. The Bombers always had really good defensive teams, and so they're probably the best defenses in the 80s during that time. And at times even the BC Lions were coming along and always had good defenses. So I've experienced a lot. And then when I came to Toronto, not only playing against Toronto and their good defense, but I also played with a good defense, which allowed myself to win a Grey Cup. That was one of the best defense teams I played with. And when I played in Edmonton had a good defense, the team I played with. And I always had a good feel for how the flow of the game is. And, as a quarterback, having the ability to, open up or also, understand that it's a hard-fought game and you don't want to do anything that will put your defense in a very difficult situation. And so, that's why I said earlier, I can play any type of game.
I was going to ask you another quick question here. What was it like going to play in the CFL with Memphis when the CFL expanded in the 90s? How much of an adjustment was that, and how was your experience that year in Memphis?
Well, at that time, I'm in my prime, right? And so the adjustment of playing football it was no adjustment at all. The adjustment I had to take heed to is the field size, the challenges of the field, and trying to play CFL style on an American field was probably the biggest adjustment, because it just felt like it was no room, especially with motioning and all those different things. And the field that we played with was a combination of grass and turf, and so you don't know what cleats to wear. But that was the only adjustment and only challenge that we had playing in Memphis. But Memphis was a great city. When I arrived there, they gave me the key to the city. It was pretty cool. Our owner, Fred Smith, who owns FedEx, they're amazing. And so the experience was really cool, really, really good. So I'm glad I, took the chance to go expansion. But it also gave, once you're coming back to the Canada and playing on the big field and those things, really gave you the freedom, I guess, you have with more room to move and maneuver and do all your things that you're, capable of doing.
It's too bad you didn't get a chance to play in BMO Field, though.
No, I mean, I would enjoy BMO, but we weren't bad in the Rogers Center.
Yes, I kind of miss the days of the exhibition stadium before they built the Skydome. So that was I kind of like that stadium. But yeah, the Rogers Center, it was okay, but I still prefer football and baseball outdoors. I'm not a big fan of domes.
I understand that too, but my first 10 years in the league, I was pretty much outdoors. My last 13 seasons were indoors.
Okay.
So majority of my yards came in being indoors in BC Place, and being in BC Place and Toronto. And so weather was never a factor in that. And plus, we had more fans when we were in Rogers Center.
I was going to
say, the Eastern final game, we had 45,000.
That wasn't a bad stadium when it was full. Like when there had 35, 40, 45, 50,000, the Rogers Center had a great atmosphere. But I've been in there but I was in there where there was like 12, 13,000. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I wasn't there when I was there, but I know that, we had good football teams when I was here from 2003 to I retired in 2008. Yep. We had a good football team. And so, we were being supported, so in that sense, yeah, I mean, that probably wouldn't be as fun, playing in the Rogers Center with that amount of people. But sometimes, you get that same feeling, even though BMO feels great to play on natural grass and be outdoors. But I'm pretty sure BMO is much better when it's packed.
Oh, yes. I was there for the Grey Cup a few years ago, Ottawa, Calgary, and it was a great atmosphere with it being sold out. And it was a great game, too.
No, absolutely. And
absolutely.
That was, the edge of your seat type of game. And so, no question that was a really good atmosphere, and that's the atmosphere we want for the Argos. So
definitely,
we're gonna keep plugging.
Definitely, and I'm glad they went back to the old Boatman logo. That's the logo I grew up with, loving the team, and I'm so glad they went back to that look.
Yeah, it looks good, and so now it's just a matter of getting the okay to start playing again.
Yeah, I'm not making any predictions because last year I really thought there was going to be a season. So I really do hope there'll be a season, even if it doesn't start to July. Even if there's like 8 or 9 games, I'd be happy with that. But I guess they still got to figure out a lot of things yet.
Well, I'm confident that it will be a season this year. So it's just a matter of, the league making an announcement.
Yeah, because I can't wait to go back to sporting events again. Hey, I was just 2 quick questions. What was the coldest game you remember ever playing in? I had to ask you this, but temperature-wise, because I know like you played in Winnipeg and Edmonton, but what the one game where it was the worst for cold temperatures?
I think the coldest game I've ever played was in 1993. I was with Edmonton, and we played against Calgary, playing against Flutie in the Western Final. It was -43 in that.
Wow.
That
-43. Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
with snow on the field, and they cleared the field. And I remember playing, warming up during the warm-ups, and I'm from California, by the way, so it was the first time ever.
Big shock to
I
your
got
system.
used to it in the 80s and started playing in those kind of weather, but 93 was probably the coldest game, and we ended up winning that game and ended up winning the Grey Cup that year as well.
Yeah, like I said, you 87 with Edmonton, I believe 93 Edmonton, and then 2000 BC, and then
That's
2004 Toronto. So I remember. So yeah, you and Ricky Ray got 4 Grey Cups. So
that's right.
He's another great guy too, Ricky Ray. I hope maybe one day I can talk to him as well.
I'm pretty sure Ricky will talk to you. I was on a Zoom call with him with I think 4 quarterbacks. It was me, Ricky Ray, Flutie wasn't on that day, but Conrad Holloway and Joe Barnes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
They were all on the Zoom call, so it was pretty cool to see and talk to those guys that I looked up to when I first came in the league, played against, and then our battles. Me playing against Ricky
That's good.
Was really good. So.
Yeah, and I was going to say that 83 Argos team is still my favorite team because I was growing up. The Argos were very bad in the 70s, and they didn't start getting good until Bob Bilovich took over with Mouse Davis in 82, and that's when Holloway and Greer and Cedric Mentor. So, we lost the Grey Cup to Edmonton that year, but people were just so glad the Argos were finally winning and just getting that Grey Cup. And then the 83 team, the 83 team is very special to me. Out of all the teams are special, but it's just because
I'll take that 204 team against any of the Argo teams.
Oh, I like the 04 team too. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the 83 team because that 31-year drought.
I remember the who was that? The Argos had that some kind of thing with all the teams that played each other, right? And they had the 2017 team or something like that beating the 2014. I was like, you're out your mind.
So, and there was
no way.
Yeah. Well, and there were some Argo teams that never won the Grey Cup either. Oh, I lost Damon. Okay. Guys, just bear with me. Just hopefully I'll get Damon back in a minute. Just a technical difficulty. So, like I said, I'm enjoying. Oh, there he is. 1 second. Oh, there you are.
I was like, no way that 2017 or one of the teams that won. I'm like, no way they don't get past that 2014. We were really good.
Hey, as an Argo fan, I've been spoiled. I've seen the team win the Grey Cup in 83, 91, 96, 97 back-to-back, 04 with you, 12 with Ricky Ray, and 17 with Ricky Ray. So, like I said, the 17 team was kind of a surprise. That team kind of came out of nowhere, in my opinion, to win the Grey Cup.
Yeah, they weren't favorite. So
no, but sometimes, hey, sports is like that. Sometimes you're the favorite and you don't win, and then sometimes you have a season where you're not even in contention or supposed to be, and teams just get hot and they just they get the right matchups in the playoffs too.
I think as I look back, I'm not sure if any of the Grey Cups or the Grey Cups I won that we were favorite. If there might have been one game that we were favorite. It might have been the 87 Grey Cup. No, the 86 we lost. We were favored by 14 to win that game.
I was kind of...
So we got killed. So
yeah.
So after that, I wasn't sure if we were favored in any of the Grey Cup games we played in. 204, I believe we weren't favorite. In 93 against Montreal, we weren't favorite, but they didn't want to play us. 2000, well, it was 2000 that we weren't favorite either, but we were on a roll. Yeah, so I don't think any of the teams that we won the Grey Cup with, we were favorite.
Favorite, wow. Well, like I said, it just goes to show the game's played on the field, not on paper. You got to play the game on the field.
Absolutely, I always say that. The players will determine who wins or loses.
Okay. My next question for you, what are your overall thoughts on the CFL, XFL possibly merging in the future. And did you have any contact with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, when he briefly played for Calgary, I believe in 1995?
No, I think he came after. I don't know when he came, but it was during training camp. So I don't know if he. And plus, I'm not sure if he came in the '90s. I might have been stateside then when he came up.
That's true. Yeah, you were in Memphis, I believe, in '95. But yeah, because I know he was on the Stampeders roster briefly in '95, and then I guess he got cut.
Yeah, so I was in stateside with the Memphis Mad Dogs.
Yeah, a few guys from the CFL have had made a pretty good career out of the wrestling. Angelo Mascal, Dwayne Rock Johnson, and Roman Reigns, I guess, briefly played for the Edmonton Football Club.
Yeah, and so, getting back to your question, the CFL and the XFL merger, I think both leagues are trying to figure it out and how to grow and how to be relevant, among the new generation of fans that are going to the games. And so with their collaboration together, having these talks, because I think overall they want a long-lasting league. And so with the CFL's rich history, it would be a shame for this country to allow this game to just disappear. But in the same time, it still has to find ways and new ways to generate revenue. And I think one of the things that what this COVID has done is really expose the CFL in their revenue streams, and really looked at the whatever method they are using to help this league to extend for years to come and to prosper and to grow, and has been exposed due to COVID. And so, we have to be innovative, and we have to find new ways to generate revenue. We have to find new ways to get people eyes on the game. They don't necessarily have to be in the stadium, but they can watch it from their homes and those things. And so I think, these are positive things. And I'm thankful enough that, the league's trying to do something, right, to play and to be successful in years to come.
Yes, and hopefully, like I said, because I miss the CFL as much as I like the NFL. I'm an Eagles fan, and the Michigan Wolverines. I do miss the Canadian Football League, and I miss the Argos being on TV as well. So, and I think the CFL needs to still get the younger people involved with the league too, as well.
Well, yeah, you don't want to lose another generation of fans to help support this league, and so, yes, the new generation that are coming out now, they need to be coming to the games. And plus, Canadians, to me, have to step up and try to save the game that is theirs.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, it's just a long history of being Canada's game. And COVID can literally take this game away from this country. And I think if it does leave and go somewhere else, or it merge and go to the States, I think it would be tragedy, and it will be missed.
Well, like I said, hopefully they can figure something out, because, like I said, I want to see the CFL survive, and I want to see the Grey Cup continue, and I want to see the Argos get fans back in the stadiums too, and I want to go to the games again. I really miss it.
Well, especially too, the Argos really did a lot of great things in the off season of signing players. It's going to be probably if they have training camp, and when training camp is going to be, is going to be quite competitive in training camp, because everybody they sign can't stay on the team, and so they're going to have to cut the roster and make it very competitive, and it should be exciting. They're really serious about rebuilding that organization. I don't know about rebuilding, but retooling, as they would say.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And, they were looking pretty good. I think they were the winners probably in the off season.
Definitely, and I like the fact that Pinball Clements is now back with the franchise or running the ship, and Ryan Dimwitty, what is his last name? Ryan
Dinwiddie.
Diddy. Yeah, sorry about that.
Dinwiddie.
Is hey, yeah, I think what the Argos also need, in my opinion, is some stability, and I think Pinball Clements and Ryan, the head coach, will do that. And like I said, hopefully they have some kind of the season starts and they can have a little bit of a training camp. Because I think you're right, Damon. I think the Argos roster from 2021 right now is probably what 90% turnover since 2 years ago.
A lot of veterans that play the game, knows how to play. We don't know how many years they have to, play at that level, but they really looked at, which makes sense too, is to sign, guys that are veteran, that been good in this league, that left other teams, and then they're signing with the Argos because at the end of the day, you have to still compete for a job. And like I said, training camp should be very competitive.
Should be interesting.
Yes.
Definitely. Okay, and my last question for you, Damon, for tonight. Do you have any advice for any young people watching that want to pursue a career as a professional athlete in any sport? Football, baseball, hockey, basketball, whatever?
The thing I would say is that they have to understand the grind on a daily basis, the grind physically, and the grind mentally. And the discipline it takes to train every day, to work, as they would say, like I would say, because I played football, the FBI, my football intelligence. So those are the things you work on a daily basis. And then you put in the necessary work to work on your individual craft. And then once you get on the team, then you start to understand team concept. And so for me, it's you got to be prepared to grind on a daily basis to get better.
And also practice too, reps and practice.
Well, that's the grind I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing on my podcast for a year now. I've been doing it 2-3 times a day or 2-3 times a week, and getting guests on and just trying to get better every podcast I do.
No, absolutely. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you become, the more confident you become. And then from there, you're still working on how can I be more efficient in those things. And so eventually, down the road, as long as you stay at it and keep learning new tools, new ways to go about doing things, it becomes easier to run your podcast.
Definitely. Okay. Well, Damon, I want to just say thank you so much for coming on short notice. I had to call an audible, and like I said, I really appreciate this. And if there's ever anything I can ever do for you or your whatever charities you work with, please let me know, and I'd be glad to help out.
No problem. No problem, Chris.
Okay, we'll keep in touch and have a good night. And thank you so much, Damon.
All right, buddy. Take care. All right.
You too. Have a good night. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye. Hey guys, like I said, thank you so much to Damon Allen, CFL Hall of Fame quarterback, 4-time Grey Cup, 3-time Grey Cup MVP, one of the greatest CFL quarterbacks of all time. I just want to say thank you again, Damon, for coming on, and hopefully I can get Damon to come on again in the future when there is a CFL season. Hopefully, I think it's going to be delayed. And but hopefully maybe by the end of June or July, but we'll see about that. But like I said, guys, I really appreciate everybody watching 30 Minutes Live with CDP live or whatever. So 1 second, let's see. Mark Richardson, great guest. Thank you, Mark. Trevor, hi, Chris, good guess. And Mark, he was a great quarterback in the CFL. Mark, next time I bring Damon on, hopefully in the future, I'll see if you can ask him some questions. Okay. So next time I will see if I can, I'll get you to maybe ask some questions and I'll post them on here for Damon, but he'll definitely come back again in the future. Guys, thank you for all watching and stuff like that. So, like I said, my next show is going to be this Saturday night. 1 second, guys. And I'm just going to post my next show. And 1 second. Okay, comments. Yeah, so my next show, guys, will be this Saturday night with Missy Hyatt. So yeah, like I said, guys, 1 sec. Yeah, so yeah, Saturday. Sorry, I got flustered there, but Saturday, April 17th at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific. Missy Hyatt, the first lady of professional wrestler from the WCW, WWF, ECW, Golden Era of Wrestling, will be my guest. Last week, unfortunately, she had to cancel at the last second. So I'm just going to check with her probably tomorrow, but that will be probably my next show. And I will have Howard Simon on hopefully next week. Mr. Simon from WGR 550 had to reschedule tonight due to a scheduling conflict. So Howard Simon hopefully will be on next week. When I find out which day and what time, I will let you guys all know. So, but like I said, guys, I just want to say everybody that watched live, thank you. And everybody who watches this later as well. And number 9 kind of saved me tonight, Mr. Damon Allen. So please check out Damon Allen on social media. He's on Instagram, he's on Facebook, and I believe he's on Twitter as well. And if you want to check out some of his highlights when he played in the CFL from 1985 to 2004, which is or 2007, sorry, 2007. Check him out. He played into his 40s. So to me, he's one of the pioneers of great quarterbacks in the CFL and pro football. To me, he was the CFL's version of Randall Cunningham. He could beat you with his legs, he could beat you with his arms, and he could beat you with his quarterback IQ. His quarterback IQ and he had such a great leg. And I really think Damon, if he had an opportunity to play in the NFL back in the 80s and 90s, I think he would have made a pretty darn good NFL quarterback. But like I said, he's one of the greatest of all time, and he's fourth all time in pro football and passing yards and rushing yards as well. So anyways, guys, like I said, I'm going to wrap up 30 Minutes Live with CDP. But again, I want to say thanks to number 9, Damon Allen. And guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. And like I said, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I can get Missy Hyatt on here Saturday night at 7 o'clock to talk about her career with pro wrestling back in the 80s and mid 90s as well. So, all right. Anyways, guys, have a great night. And we'll hopefully see you guys Saturday night at 7 o'clock here on 30 Minutes Live with CDP.